This is the best tornado build you will find on the web. 2 minute 40 second T100 clear. I wasn't trying to be fast. I'm leveling my glyphs for the build, and this is just how fast the build is. Let me tell you why this build is better than all the other builds on the web. First of all, Sanctum was the original creator of Stormwolf, and I helped him optimize the build. He's also working on mobalytics like me, and he helped me optimize a bunch of my builds. So we worked on builds together. Now, everyone is still using his old version of Grizzly Rage for Tornado, but obviously it got nerfed. We have better ways to play the build, and let me explain how this variation works better compared to the old one. First of all, we are decoupled from Grizzly Rage. Every aspect that was used to get into Grizzly Rage, now we can use it for other things, but especially for companions. Because of Shepherd aspect, we have a 200% multiplier of damage on our two-handed weapon. But also, more cool things happen because we don't not use Grizzly Rage. Yes, we can still have maxed out move speed, even without it. Yes, we do not need to use basic skills, meanwhile Grizzly Rage builds still do. We can run without it, but on top of that, we have a bunch of advantages by not having to run Grizzly Rage. We can exit Grizzly Rage form, we can exit Werewolf form. And this is coming in clutch for the next big upgrade the build has. The build has never been stronger, because we can use Hunter Zenith. Look how often I'm spamming Debilitating Roar. Hunter Zenith has received massive buffs this season. You have 2 key passives that you get from the ring, an additional 20% damage reduction from it. Absolutely wild that we can get so much DR from this passive, which can go up to rank 5 or 6. It's just crazy to have that extra damage reduction on top of the 70% damage reduction from Debilitating Roar, infinite amount of Fortify, damage reduction and healing from it. It's just the best combo, I think, in the game, and makes any T100 dungeon a joke. Every pack, Debilitating Roar, go to the next one. The way we have figured out to now play without resource generation is, without Direwolf aspect, is that we max move speed by other means. By having Madwolf Glee and having move speed on our boots and on your amulet, you are maxed out move speed. You get to 100%, 98, 99. Now, to fix our generation issues, and the reason why, unlike the Grizzly Rage builds you see on other website, they use basic skills but we do not need to, is because our build is based around T-Bolt's Will. T-Bolt's Will gives you a lot of resources every time you use your dash. We can couple this with some cost reduction for spirit from the boots on the amulet, and also by using the legendary passive on our paragon called Inner Beast. This is only possible because we can exit Werewolf form by pressing Debilitating Roar and any of our pet abilities. Inner Beast wouldn't be able to proc on a Grizzly Rage build, that's why it's important that we do not use it. On top of that, it's good to have one ring with resource generation, and by having those things, you have the same amount of spirit generation, that cost reduction that you would have with a normal Grizzly Rage build. But on top of that, you also have more mana generation through T-Bolt's Will, but especially you have the 40% damage multiplier, which is absolutely nuts. When you couple that up with the 200% we get from companions, you see that running Grizzly Rage is just doesn't do anything for us. You get a 200% additive damage from Werebeast. You have to stop moving, you need to wait for the cooldown to come back sometimes. It's just too much for nothing gained. Spending 3-4 aspects just to get Direwolf to work, to get a 200% increased damage, it's just silly at this point, when we can do better and also enabling us to use Hunter Zenith in our build. Alright, let's start with our gear. So of course the weapon, we have a Shepherd aspect on it, 20% damage per companion. I'm sorry if you hear any noise, they're building stuff. I like to have damage to close and damage to distant on this if you can, or at least damage to close. They interact with the Paragon legendary node Thunderstruck, so you double dip a little bit. The other stats are gonna be additive. Willpower is a multiplier, but it is not a lot of damage. Super strong though, it's 15% multiplier in this case. Critical strike damage is a good one, you can have anything though. We have Ghost Walkers, with the most important stats being, in my opinion, spirit cost reduction and move speed, then armor, then does not matter. We have Thibault's Wheel, unique, you need this. If you do not have it, use the unique-less version of the build. I will have a link for it. Doesn't have uniques, and it is what it is. You're gonna have to use basic attacks sometimes, and you're not gonna use Hunter Zenith, you have Umbral Aspect, etc. For gloves, Tornado stick up to 3 targets. You really want ranks to Tornado. You really want crit chance and attack speed. Mine are really bad, but not trading, so slow self-found. Lucky hit chance does not matter. You can have anything you want. Wheel, crit damage, works fine. Mad Wolf Glee, it's very good, especially for speed farming. And for bossing, it's 3 ranks, plus damage, plus life. It's really OP. And if you want to be more tanky, you can always go with a breastplate, rare one, with Tigurus or Disobedience, and you can have damage reduction modifiers on it. The Helm, must have for the build, you can't play without it. Tempest Roar, you know about it. For Amulet, core skills deal extra damage depending on the amount of Fortify you have. Most important stats on here are speed cost reduction and ranks to Envenom. But actually, I would say more important than that probably is having move speed. I use this amulet more because the damage is already too high and mobs die quickly enough that I don't even need to have the other amulet on. So I'll go for more attack speed, but we're kind of close to the attack speed cap anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Then for the amulet, Hunter Zenith, Beast. I don't have, unfortunately, 3 ranks to heightened senses, but it is what it is. Very strong amulet. It's from Beast in Ice. Try to get one if you can, especially with high crit chance and ranks to heightened senses. Last ring, it's a Ring of the Stampede. To have one more pet, it's 30% multiplier. It's not bad. And you want to have, of course, resource generation, really important here. That's and crit chance are the 2 most important stats. Then max life, and then I will have close damage if you can, because again it will be a multiplier with Final Shock. That's it for my gear. Let's move on to other things. For boons, things are gonna be pretty simple. We have Masochist, and because we do not have to use Grizzly Rage anymore, we do not need to run Calm Before the Storm nor Calamity, which makes us much stronger because we can use Bolster and have a lot more Fortify than you would normally have with a Grizzly Rage build. Allows us to play both Iron Feather and Scythe Talons, or if you want, swooping attacks. Wordiness, always in every build, very simple. And let's go and talk about talents. So, for talent 3, it's gonna be quite interesting, because we're gonna be having Perfect Storm as our Keystone passive. It's 1 spirit and 50% damage multiplier if they are vulnerable. With Tornado, they always are. This is very powerful. You can also apply vulnerability with vampiric powers that we're gonna cover later on. We have here 5 ranks to heightened senses. It's maxed out. That this is because of the ring we have. We also have quick shift, same thing. This could be 6 ranks, so it could be 25% damage reduction. Really powerful. We're gonna go for Defiance, 12% damage, and Circle of Life for more healing. We also have more healing from Masochist and more healing from Vampiric powers. So a lot of healing in this build. And Venom, on your Amulet plus passives, you play the full kit with Toxic Claws and Neurotoxin. And of course we do damage reduction on Hurricane. Classic combo, increase the duration of Hurricane, another classic combo. Here it gets interesting, we play with the 3 pets. So Ravens, you want to increase the number of Ravens you have, that's the key part. Also the 8% crit chance, really strong against bosses, gives you also a lot more resources because you crit more and you get more resources thanks to Lust for Carnage. We have Poison Creeper and we get crit chance against enemies, 20% if they're entangled. This does not work against bosses because they don't get entangled. 1 rank to wolves, we do not care. Debilitating Roar, we do not need more ranks because we reset the cooldown with Hunter Zenith. We take the healing over the slow, I think it's better. And we have Vigilant maxed out, we have Ancestral Fortitude maxed out. This is a lot of DR for us. Of course, we're gonna run Move Speed, Digit Great Gate, we run Predatory Instinct for a quick chance. Max ranks of Tornado with Vulnerability as our passive, very important. And we also take Wild Impulses for that 15% damage increase. Basic ability doesn't really matter, but if you want to run without Debilitating Roar because you don't have T-Bolt's Will, Storm Strike or actually playing Wind Shear would be your better choice. The Paragon board for this build is a work of art. It's maxed out for damage while also being able to easily do T100 without dying on repetition. Why? Well, first of all, we're gonna use Territorial here. A bit of an odd choice, as usually the best place to put the Dexterity nodes is gonna be in Constricting Tendrils node, because you can achieve higher numbers, but we cannot fit that board and you will see why soon. Second board, we take Inner Beast and we take Undaunted, the best board, one of the best board for intelligence. Undaunted is a massive source of DR, but also insane damage. We abuse intelligence here a lot. Of course, we're gonna take Inner Beast for 30% cost reduction in here. And as you can see, we do not take attack speed because we are close to attack speed cap due to vampiric power that we're gonna talk later about. So it starts to becoming a little bit additive rather than multiplicative. Here we have on the second board Thundershock. As you can see, 43%, it could be higher if I had a better ring with close damage, which I do not have. Weird thing, I am using Spirit in this board. Again, I'm maxing out for damage. Usually here you would get a node, a glyph, to buff either the rare nodes or to buff the magic nodes, so yeah, you could be getting more damage reduction. But because our build is so tanky, thanks to Hunter's Zenith, giving us so many ranks of Quick Shift and Heightened Senses and Debilitating Roar, that we can go full damage, so we take Spirit instead. Now, instead, we're gonna be using Earth and Sky here. Earth and Sky on Ancestral Guidance, another 30% multiplier, is being used here on top of having also some Spirit generation, because core skill damage have a higher base value than other magic nodes, like Storm skill damage, for example. Because of that, using a magic node empowering effect here, like Earth and Sky or Fang and Claw, gives us more value. Again, we go for more damage. Then we're gonna take as our fourth board Fang and Claw. Fang and Claw or Constricting Tendrils was a tough choice, but this wins out because it has a great socket for Fang and Claw in Heightened Senses. Very easy to get, you get damage reduction on all nodes, and also you get damage to poison enemies, great for us. And of course, as the last board, we do get the Lust for Carnage. I advise to get Lust for Carnage and the Werewolf Glyph socket as your second board or third board, depending on your level. This is really when you are like level 100, you reach here as your last point. If you're not, you know, take it as your fifth board, maybe as your fourth, maybe as your third board. Depending wherever you can reach, you take Lust for Carnage as that board. But in order, first board, second board, third board, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay, a quick look at our vampiric power. We're gonna start with Undying, which casting skills grant us 3% life. Very strong. We have a lot of healing in this build because we cast really quickly. We have Prey on the Weak. Vulnerable enemies take more damage. You can also vulnerable enemies with your curses, meaning that when you dash through an enemy, they become vulnerable. This is important because actually, tornadoes do not apply vulnerability instantly, it's a chance. It's good on bosses, but for elite packs that you want to kill quickly, dashing through them sometimes can be the way to apply vulnerable. This makes it so you do not need the vulnerable exploit glyph. Then we're gonna have Metamorphosis, which grant us Unstoppable. This is very important because we activate T-Bolt's Will with it. Very important to keep this in your build, of course. I would say do not level this glyph, this vampiric power up. If you can, it's a mistake to upgrade it. The lower it is, actually, the better it is. We have Sanguine Embrace. The 8% fortify is 6% per kill, sorry. The 8% crit chance is really why you want to play this. You fortify mostly with the debilitating roar, but this is also really nice. Really strong, 8% crit is big. We have Ravenous, which is, well, 40% of your move speed as attack speed. You can get up to 80% extra attack speed with this, and that is why we do not take more attack speed, because if you get 80% from this and 15% from your gloves, you are pretty much capped out in attack speed. No need to take more attack speed. And it starts to be additive at that point, so I prefer to take other things, especially because on Paragon we do not have more time. This is all for the Paragon, sorry, for the Vampiric Power. Moving on. This is a very easy build to play, so there's gonna be few things to learn about it. One thing I like to tell you about is be sure to kill one thing before you use Debilitating Roar. When you see something is about to die, that's a great point in time to press Debilitating Roar again. Usually what I do is when I see a new pack of enemies, I use Debilitating Roar, then I kill something, Debilitating Roar again. For every pack you see, I would advise use Debilitating Roar. Like even blink in it, use it, and then use your tornadoes. That's the easiest combo ever. Just keep repeating, and that's a drill. Someone is drilling a wall. Sorry for that. Yeah, that's gonna be good. We're gonna keep this in the video. And of course, now let's talk about T-Bolt's Will. Let me kill all the mobs here. So when do you use T-Bolt Will? Well, you're automatically using it when you see a new pack, you blink through it, and then use Debilitating Roar, you've activated T-Bolt's Will. A good way to activate it without making mistakes, because you can make it, is to not have the boots I have. My boots have cooldown reduction when I attack. So if I attack, I reduce the cooldown of the boots. But if you have boots that give you move speed and that have 5-second cooldown on the boots, then it's a lot easier for you to not have this problem. Every time you're gonna have your dash up, it's gonna give you back your resources and it's gonna be fine. If I make a mistake with the boots I have, it could be that I have my boots up and see, now I don't get the resources. Because you need, for T-Bolt's Will to work, to not be unstoppable. And you are unstoppable for several seconds depending on your Vampiric Power rank. For us, because we have upgraded it to rank 3, it's 4 seconds. So that's really the only things you need to learn about in this build. Another one is, when would you use Poison Creeper? Well, Poison Creeper is a good ability to poison enemies that are far away. And of course you get crit chance, but that crit chance does not apply to bosses because they are not immobilized. So mainly it's for trash and for applying poison fast to further away enemies. At the same time, Hurricane also does the same. Also, Hurricane gives you a lot of resources back because it creates and it procs, as you can see. Perfect Storm, your Keystone passive, so very powerful. The Wolves, we don't really use them. And the last thing, of course, is the Ravens. Now, the Ravens are pretty good as they give you 8% crit chance. 8% crit chance means you crit more procs of Last for Carnage. Very good on bosses. If you can see, my Lilith clip has it. So yeah, keep it for bosses or for elite packs. It's a good ability, but not necessary. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys again on the next video.